The rain was coming down in buckets, wind snatching at the collar of my coat, trying in vain to pull it open, trying in vain to escape the darkness that clung to me like a second skin. The neon lights of the city were blurred by the sheets of water that raced down the windshield, mirroring the frantic beat of my heart. In the passenger seat, the briefcase sat innocuously, its leather surface slicked in the dim glow of the interior light. Inside, more secrets than a man should ever hold. It wasn't supposed to be like this. There was supposed to be 2 of us behind the wheel, 2 of us sharing the burden, the spoils. But here I was, alone with only the ghosts of our past for company, hurtling towards a future I never asked for. It all started 3 years ago when I joined the Valente family, eager to escape the suffocating grip of my past. I had skills they needed, connections I could make, information I could provide. We were a match. Or so I thought. Now, those same skills, those same connections, the very information they'd sought after. They were the reason I found myself drenched in the neon glow of a city street, racing against time, racing against fate. The phone in my pocket vibrated, the insistent buzz echoing the turmoil in my chest. I let it go to voicemail. What was said couldn't be unsaid. There was no turning back. My foot pressed harder on the accelerator, urging the car forward. Don Giovanni's words echoed in my ears. His raspy voice, a phantom limb I hadn't realized I was missing. "You're not one of us," he'd spat, his eyes burning with cold fury. "But you can become one of us if you prove yourself. Bring me the Luna Protocol, and I'll erase your past. You'll have a new identity, a new life." No questions asked. It had seemed like a golden opportunity then, a way out of the labyrinth I'd been born into. But now, gripping the steering wheel, knuckles white, I understood the gravity of what I'd gotten us into. The Luna Protocol, a Pandora's box of secrets buried deep within the Vatican's hallowed halls, was more than just a collection of files. It was a ticking time bomb. In the hands of the wrong people, the information contained within could topple governments, shatter alliances, and paint targets on every member of the Valente family. I knew this because I was the one who'd brought it to them, unaware of its true nature at the time. I'd been young, foolish, desperate to carve out a place in a world that had always seemed determined to keep me out. Don Giovanni had taken notice of my skills, my ability to navigate the murky depths of the underworld. He'd seen potential in me, a raw diamond in the rough, and he'd offered me a choice, a chance to shine or to be discarded. I chose to shine. I'd infiltrated the Vatican under the guise of religious studies, my real mission hidden beneath layers of piety and prayer. I'd found the Luna Protocol, a micro SD card tucked away in a forgotten corner of the library, shielded by ancient texts and guarded by centuries of silence. It held sensitive information about prominent figures, powerful families, and hidden agendas. And when I handed it over to Don Giovanni, I saw the gleam of triumph in his eyes. But that triumph was short-lived. As the first rays of dawn touched the horizon, news broke of a fire at the Vatican Library, a blaze that had consumed countless historical artifacts and raised suspicions that reached far beyond the realm of the Vatican walls. We knew then that someone else had been searching for the Luna Protocol, someone who would stop at nothing to get what they wanted. The family went into lockdown, their sprawling estate transformed into a fortress, its inhabitants bracing for an attack that never came. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and we began to think we'd escaped the worst. That was until the whispers started. Whispers of a mole within the family, a traitor who had betrayed us to the flames. Accusations flew, casting long shadows of doubt. Suspicions fell on Marco Don Giovanni's youngest son, known for his volatile temper and reckless abandon. He denied it vehemently, but the doubt remained, a stain that wouldn't come out. Then there was Isabella, the matriarch's favorite, her protective presence a constant shield around her brother. Her alibi was airtight, yet the doubts lingered. Even I wasn't immune. My past, the very thing that had brought me to the Valentes, made me a likely candidate. I had secrets, things I'd done that would make me a liability if exposed. But the truth was, none of us were safe, because in the intricate game of betrayal and hidden loyalties, that was the Mafia. Trust was a luxury we couldn't afford. As night fell, cloaking the city in darkness, I found myself at the crossroads. I could flee, disappear into the vastness of the night. But where would I go? Who could I trust? And more importantly, Who would believe my story without proof? The only option left was to find the person responsible, to expose them all before they exposed us. With the Luna Protocol in my possession, I had leverage. I could use it to flush out the traitor, to force them to reveal themselves. But who would it be? Marco with his hot-headed impulsiveness, Isabella with her ironclad alibi, or perhaps someone we hadn't even suspected, someone whose loyalty ran deeper than blood. The weight of the decision pressed down on me, every heartbeat echoing the urgency of my task. If I chose wrong, the consequences could be dire, not just for me, but for everyone I'd come to care about. Daisy blurred into a montage of clandestine meetings and whispered conversations. Mako, fueled by anger and a thirst for vengeance, wanted to strike first, to take out Isabella and put an end to the speculation once and for all. But I stopped him, knowing that wouldn't solve anything. We needed proof. Isabella, though furious at the accusations, agreed to help. Her keen intellect and sharp instincts were a valuable asset. Together, we combed through every interaction, every conversation, trying to piece together the clues that pointed to the mole. It was Isabella who finally cracked the case. Her sharp gaze focused on something I'd overlooked, a seemingly insignificant detail from one of our late-night discussions. She'd noticed a flicker of unease in her father's eyes, a subtle twitch betraying his composure. We confronted Don Giovanni, the weight of our accusations pressing down on him like a shroud. He denied it, his voice shaking with controlled fury, but his eyes, they spoke the truth. The realization dawned on me, the truth as cold and hard as steel. It wasn't Don Giovanni who was the mole, it was me. The suspicion had been there all along, buried beneath my own paranoia. I'd have been so focused on the threat from outside the family that I'd have failed to see the danger lurking within myself. In my efforts to protect the family, I'd inadvertently endangered them all. The Luna Protocol, the very thing that had brought me to the Valentis, was now the reason I was hunted by them. And as the full weight of my betrayal crashed down on me, I knew there was no escape. No apology that could undo what I'd done. As I raced through the neon-lit streets, the briefcase heavy in my lap, I know I can't outrun my past. The secrets within that briefcase are too big, the enemies I've made too powerful. But maybe, just maybe, if I play my cards right, I can protect the ones I love, and in doing so, find redemption for myself. This was just one of the Valente family's secrets. If you want to hear the next one, subscribe and hit the bell. Trust me, it gets darker.